Save an additional $1,000 now through the end of the month when you click and drive. Go to westcountynissan.com and get a quote in just minutes and save an additional $1,000 on Muranos, Armadas, and Pathfinders now through the end of the month only at westcountynissan.com.
Cardinals coverage on 101sports.com is brought to you by West County Nissan.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Redbird Report. I'm Anthony Stalter. As always, I got my man Chris Duncan here. Dunk, let's jump right into it. Right now, the Cardinals are struggling. They've got a horrible road trip going on right now. They're 4-6 in their last 10. What do you think is the biggest struggle right now, the biggest issue that's plaguing this club?
Well, actually, Anthony, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. You saw this ball club go into New York, and Johan Santana throws a no-hitter. The next day, R.A. Dickey was fantastic with his knuckleball, and the young pitcher, Jonathan Neese, had a great breaking ball. And we saw a very good hitting club in the St. Louis Cardinals actually struggle with the bats. And I think the starting pitching been an issue all of May. In April, the starting pitching was fantastic. They struggled all of May. The bullpen's starting to have problems. I think all around, every part of this ball club started to struggle, but I think it was a big game yesterday having Adam Wainwright go out there, pitch as good as he pitched, and let the hitters get into a hitter-friendly ballpark, start getting some confidence back, hit a couple home runs, and I think Alan Craig was fantastic yesterday.
If I were to choose one, I look at these stats here. April, 2.61 ERA. I believe they were second in all of baseball in ERA. Then in May, you get to 4.71. Hitters, as you know, you're gonna get into streaks where you get into cold funks and things like that, and that's no excuse to kind of have it all fall apart. But if I'm looking at one thing, it's got to be the pitching. So hopefully they get back on track here. They get away from Houston. They get back in their own ballpark, and hopefully we see some better performances. Question 2, who do the Cardinals replace Jaime Garcia with in the starting rotation? He's going to miss his next start. He may wind up on the DL. Who do they look to?
This is a tough decision because they really don't have a lot of depth as far as starting pitching goes. They might have to go down to AAA, get a guy like Brandon Dixon who might be able to plug that gap for a little bit, maybe a guy like Joe Kelly. I don't think they should rush Shelby Miller. I don't think he's ready. He's not having that good of a year. 4-4 in AAA with a 4.99 ERA. I think he needs to prove that he can pitch better than that before they bring him up to the big leagues. But if I was John Mozeliak and I was the St. Louis Cardinals, I'd look at making a move, potentially going out there trying to trade for somebody. I know a guy who I played with a couple years ago, John Lannon, is down in AAA for the Washington Nationals. They're stacked with starting pitching. He's making a lot of money. This is a guy who went 10-13 last year. He's very capable of being a legitimate starting pitcher. He could plug the gap in the rotation until Jaime Garcia gets back, and then once Garcia gets back, he could move down to the bullpen. Lefties only hit .211 against this guy last year. He could make the transition. He could do both, and I think he would give this pitching staff a ton of depth. I would not be surprised if John Mozeliak's exploring some different options. I know there was rumors that he was looking at Jeff Francis, the former Colorado Rockies ace that got released by the Cincinnati Reds. He ends up signing back with Colorado, but they're going to explore all kinds of different options. But if I had to bet, right now, Brandon Dixon comes up, plugs the gap for a little bit until they can find something else.
Last question. A lot of people are kind of worried, okay, how do we get Alan Craig in the same lineup with Matt Adams? Why isn't that going to be an issue coming up?
Well, we got a 15-day span of interleague play, and I think a lot of people, when they first saw this ball club break camp out of spring training, were pretty excited for interleague play because they knew that they were going to have a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. But you look at Alan Craig, Carlos Beltran, and Matt Adams in the lineup at the same time. That's a very dangerous lineup. They're very fortunate that interleague play is right around the corner. They're going to find plenty of at-bats for all of these guys, and I think they're going to be dangerous. And it starts tomorrow with the Cleveland Indians.
And we have to talk about it. It's not part of my 3 questions here, but we got the brother coming in, Shelley Duncan. Give us a report on Shelley Duncan. What do we have to look for with him coming to town?
He's a big-time power hitter. He's going to swing as hard as he can. He might even fall down when he swings. If he runs into it, it's going to go pretty far. Right now, he's not hitting for high average, but he's a very dangerous hitter. If you throw him a fastball, especially up in the zone, he'll probably park it. Struggles with off-speed and some other pitches. But right now, over in Cleveland, Manny Acta's really not giving him an opportunity to play. I'm just hoping these 3 days he's here, that Manny Acta gets him in the lineup so I can get a chance to watch him play. I've never seen him play a full big league game, and I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm just glad Papa Dunk's not on the other side trying to get him out.
That would have made it interesting. That's true. That's a great point. How's his defense?
It's good. It's a lot better than mine. Believe it or not, I tarnished his reputation. After botching balls in the outfield for all those years, people automatically assumed he was a terrible outfielder, but he's actually a really good outfield. He went his whole college career without making an error in right field. And last year, he actually was top 5 in all of baseball for best defensive game. He made 3 web gems in one game in Arlington against the wall. He's a decent outfielder.
This is your Redbird report for this week. Join us next time on 101sports.com. For Chris Duncan, I'm Anthony Stalter. We'll see you next week.